Let me welcome you all who have joined this masterclass on digital marketing brought to you by AntWak Academy. I understand in the first 5 minutes there will be people who will be coming in. The request for the other attendees is that kindly keep your microphone muted so that you do not disturb the others. If you have a question, you can raise your hand and we can and you can put your questions in the chat window and we will try to address all the questions towards the end. All right. So let me begin with welcoming you once again. Sushobhan has already joined. So AntWak is an education platform. It is driven by real professionals who share real insights. More than 3,000 global professionals from 30 plus countries have shared their knowledge over 15 domains on AntWak. You can visit antwalk.com for more information. AntWalk is now launching a 16-week immersive experiential learning, which will be taught by these global professionals such as Sushovan, which will prepare you with real skills and competencies to become day one productive at your job. You know, and in this program, along with the technical skills, you will also be trained on essential soft skills like communication, negotiation, storytelling. You will be also mentored around CV prep, GD, and other necessary skills that require you to get a job. In digital marketing, you will be also given hands-on tools, experience on tools. You will be given real-world projects, and which will help you make a career in digital marketing. So this program, the USP of this program is that it will be solely taken by global professionals such as Sushobhan who have a lot of industry experience. Okay. After the boot camp, we will also provide placement assistance. We have more than 100 hiring partners. Through the channel of our hiring partners, we will provide 100% placement assistance to all who will join this boot camp. So we will be sharing the registration links of this boot camp shortly towards the end, and you guys can register for the boot camp there. The registrations have already started. The seats are fast filling in. Coming to the agenda of the masterclass today. Today's masterclass is on trends that shape the future of digital marketing, which will be taken by Sushobhan Rai. Sushobhan is a digital marketer and he helps brands with winning marketing strategies. As a digital marketing lead at AB InBev and Puma, he was responsible for delivering brand performance and marketing objectives, handling over $3 million in budget. So Shobhan is also a Google and HubSpot certified marketer with experience of over 7 years, not limited to just Facebook ads, influencer, performance marketing. In the last 7 years, he has focused on differentiated and innovative messages delivery with behavioral targeting to yield results in his campaigns. So I welcome Sushobhan. Sushobhan, welcome to this masterclass.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Sushobhan, you are.
Hey, hi, Sudhanshu. Thanks a lot. Uh,
So we can the floor is all yours, Sushobhan. There are both ways we can do. I have this presentation that you have made. I can make the change. As you tell me, I will change the screen, or you can take over. I can make you the co-host where you can share the presentation, whichever works for you.
no, that's fine. I mean, I'm good with either. So let us keep it this way that you can keep on changing the slides. But I was just trying to figure out if there is something wrong with my audio because I am not able to hear you completely. So let me just
Just tell me if I'm audible properly. Can others hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you, so.
Okay, okay.
yeah. So I think now it's better. Yeah, I think now it's better because at times internet issues at my end also lead to these kind of disturbances. But yeah,
Right.
we are good to go. I think like you can keep on changing the slides, and then like I can ask you to keep moving, and then probably we will hold on each of these slides for some time, and then I can talk through these slides, and then we keep on moving. Okay,
Sure, Sushobhan. Yes.
sure. Okay. Yeah. So first of all, Sudhanshu, thanks a lot for giving that introduction, and also sort of giving this opportunity wherein we could collaborate together, and sort of also giving a platform for the digital marketing enthusiasts, and also giving a platform for I would not like to call myself as an expert, but yeah, of course, I'm still a learner, because it is always day one for digital marketing and all. But yeah, of course, and also giving a platform for people like us to kind of interact with the freshers and like probably the other enthusiasts who are trying to make a career into digital marketing. And yeah, of course, I hope that by the end of this masterclass session, you all should be able to take away a few of the trends that are that have already started kicking in, and they've got huge potential. They've got tremendous potential to grow in future, and probably in some way or the other, they're going to shape digital marketing for the next few years. All right. Yeah. So we begin with something called a social commerce. Now, I don't know how many of you would be aware of this particular aspect, but I'm sure that most of you would have seen something or the other of this sort. Because over here on the left, what you see is a post by Puma India, which features their brand ambassador Virat Kohli, and Puma happens to be my ex company as well. So like some of the examples which I have picked up are from Puma. Yeah. So you see Virat Kohli, who is the ex ambassador. Sorry. Who is the ambassador of Puma, and he's endorsing a pair of shoes, right? So the thing is, I mean, when you look at social commerce, so social commerce in its simplest form is nothing but you're trying to integrate social media, and then you're also trying to integrate, a little bit of e-commerce into this. So social commerce in its current shape is that when you're bringing the best of both worlds, social media as well as e-commerce, and then you're trying to reduce the amount of friction which a customer might find in sort of the entire journey from social media all the way to the website. So social commerce in its current form is very simple, right? So you see a few of the posts on your feed, wherein you can see some of the products which are already featuring in the image, and when you click on the image, you can actually see the products popping up. And if you want to know more about those products, you click on that, and then it probably takes you to the shop section of that brand. And you also get a button which takes you to the website. So it calls out as view website. So social commerce, as such, it has already started in India, and right now, if you look at the share of social commerce in the entire pie of e-commerce, I think social commerce gets about 1 to 2% of share. But if you look at the way it is growing, and slowly and gradually, people are also adopting social commerce in India. It is expected to get up to 5% share of e-commerce by end of 2025, right? And not to forget that e-commerce also will be growing at a very high CAGR. So e-commerce will be growing at about 32 percentage CAGR till 2025. That is as per the estimates. So, you know, growing at 2.5% of your current share in a market which is growing by 30-40% CAGR itself speaks volumes about the kind of potential that social commerce has in future, right? So now, I have already told you what is happening currently. So now I'll also give you a peekaboo of the future. So what exactly is going to happen in future, right? I'm sure some of you guys would have also gone on to apps like Lenskart, or probably some of the other cosmetic apps, wherein those apps can also let you try on the products, right? So that is more or less like an AR filter, augmented reality filter, wherein you can virtually try the products even before buying, right? Or let's say, for instance, you go onto a fashion website, and then you try to figure out, okay, how will this jacket look on me? And then accordingly, you can actually switch on your front camera, and then you can click on any of the products that you want to try, and then it is going to show you an image of how will the jacket, or how will the spectacle, or how will the cosmetic look on you, right? And then accordingly, you can buy that product. But all of this is happening today on the app, right? So you have to go to individual websites app, or individual brands app, in order to see all of these virtual try-ons. Now, when you integrate social commerce, and just think about it 5 years down the line, what you will actually see is, probably you see a post like this wherein Virat Kohli is popping up a shoe, and you click on that. Currently, it is taking you to the shop section, but let's say 2 years, 3 years hence, you will see when you click on the shoe, probably that is going to open up an AR filter within Instagram itself, and then you can switch on your front camera, and then you can literally try on these shoes. Okay, so shoes is just an example. It could be in the form of apparel, it could be in the form of jacket, it could be in the form of anything else. So basically, we are trying to integrate virtual try on feature within social. So that is something which is an elevated user experience. The second thing that will happen is, right now, if you look at all of these social commerce links, they are redirecting you to the website. So what will happen is, you will also see a further integration of your payment wallet. So what you will see is you will not have to leave the entire Instagram platform, and probably all of these things are happening within Instagram platform itself. Because Facebook has already launched WhatsApp Pay, and once they get all of these basics right, I mean it will not take them long to sort of also integrate WhatsApp Pay into this one, or probably also launch something called as Instagram Pay, and kind of integrate that with all of the other payment wallets. So that is again reducing another level of friction for customer purchase. So overall, we are talking about probably as we speak today, we have probably 4 or 5 different steps in the customer journey from discovery all the way till the purchase. But moving into future, I mean, if social commerce picks up, and then we also see a lot of technology coming into the picture, and then we will see social media and e-commerce world merging, then we will definitely have probably 1 or 2 steps, and then you should be able to buy this product right within Instagram itself. So that's where the power of social commerce, right? So this is one of the trends which I wanted to talk about. And yeah, I also wanted to sort of spend some time on this picture on the right. So on this picture on the right, so you see Hrithik Roshan, who is walking out of the airport, and then there's a platform which captures these kind of short snippets, short videos, and then it automatically uses your image recognition and advanced level of sort of pattern matching, and some bit of unstructured machine learning algorithms, and then it starts putting up probably the products which have been used by the ambassador, right? So they need not be exactly the same product which is used by the person, but as you can see over here on the right, I mean it is fairly mimicking the apparel which is worn by the ambassador. So it not just picks up probably just the t-shirt or the jacket, but it has got the potential to pick up all of these things, right? So over here you can see outfit, you could see accessories, you could see footwear, you could also see some of the other aspects as well. So this particular piece, as we speak today, probably not many people would know of this platform called Charmboard. There are a lot of other platforms as well which are doing something of the similar sort, wherein your shopping is not just restricted to images, right? So because this particular piece is picked up from a GIF, and similarly you can also pick up stuff from videos, and then, like, let's say you want to click on, okay, so I want to buy this particular shirt which is worn by this actor in this song, and the moment you click on that particular person, it is going to probably follow the same sort of algorithms to kind of also tell you the closest matching products which it could find on the internet, and then probably you could go onto those websites and then purchase. So, like, this is something which is happening in the current state. Probably 3 years or 4 years down the line, if they also end up integrating e-commerce into this, we will also see uh, you know uh, the amount of friction being reducing from let's say your discovery to purchase, wherein we will see integrations of payment wallets coming into the picture. Plus we also see some bit of augmented reality also coming in, and then probably you can try it on the platform itself and then finally make a purchase or book a purchase. So everything happens within the platform, the friction points are reduced, and then you have a very, very elevated consumer experience, right? So it's a win-win for brands, it's a win-win for consumers as well. So everybody at the end of the day wins through this particular setup. Yeah. So Kanshu, we can move on to the next one. Yeah. So I also wanted to spend some time on one of the burning issues of today's time, which is nothing but user privacy. So what we see these days, right? Because Google at some point of time last year announced that it is going to do away with third-party cookies from Chrome. So the likes of Mozilla and Apple, they had already sort of stopped extending any kind of support to third-party cookies. But now with Google also joining the war against third-party cookies, we know that for all practical purposes, the existence of third-party cookies is in danger, right? Because they are not going to exist anymore, because Google pretty much captures a lion's share of the entire advertising space, which is currently utilizing third-party cookies. So what it means? So what do you mean by third-party cookie, right? So what happens is, like, whenever you open any kind of a website, uh, you all must have seen some or the other kind of a notification that says that we use cookies to kind of track your journey, and then we would also want to use this to deliver personalized ads to you, right? So what happens is, if you come onto my website and then I'm showing you that particular message, so then whatever cookie information is captured within the website session, that is something which is my first party cookie, right? Because let's say I am brand A and you're coming onto brand A's website, I can still use cookies, right? And then probably capture some of the information which helps me figure out your user journey on my website. But that is something which is called as first party cookie. So I will have full control on that. But the moment you get out of my website and then probably go onto some other website, and then you browse through that website and then you move on to some other website, right? So you are in the same browser, but then probably you have opened another tab and then you're still continuing your journey over there. So all of the other tabs that you would open, and then probably something that will come as the first party cookie for the other websites will be a third party cookie for you, because technically speaking you don't own those websites. So whatever that user does on those websites is none of your business. But still Google allowed access to these third party cookies, but because that used to help me advertise better, right? So let's say somebody came and served through a product of mine. This person liked the product of mine, and he put it on the cart, but he did not finish the purchase, and then he moved on to some other website. So now I could dynamically retarget this person, and then I can clearly identify, okay, this is the person who was kind of browsing through this particular product of mine, and I want to push him down the conversion funnel. So I could always, through the help of third party cookies, target this particular person across websites and then show him the same product which he was browsing. But after the removal of these third party cookies, that is something which is not going to be possible anymore. And most of the brands, they will have to rely on building their own first party pool, right? So what does this mean? So let's say now imagine a future, let's say 2 years, 3 years down the line, there's no third party cookies. So how do brands still retarget? So brands will have to retarget by creating their own first party database, right? So what happens is, whenever someone is coming onto my website, so even before that person starts his journey on my website, I will still have to sort of make that person log in onto my website, right? Or probably I integrate, some or the other form of Google login through which I know, or probably I can identify that, okay, this is the person who had come onto my website and he had browsed through 3 or 4 different products on my website. And after that, even if he moves on to some other website and I have no clue about that, because third party cookies are no more available, I can still retarget that person because I have a personally identifiable information with me. And then I can reach out to this person across, like, let's say, multiple social platforms, because he would be using the same login information to kind of browse some of the other apps as well. So that is how the future will be. In the absence of third party cookies, probably brands will have to rely more on creating that first party database. And when brands rely more on creating first party database, they will have to offer consumers way more value, so that consumers by themselves are giving them the permission to target them, or consumers are by themselves giving them permissions to send out communication related to offers, or like probably also serve personalized ads. So unless until that value proposition comes in, brands which are weak in offering that kind of a value proposition, they are the ones who are going to lose, and then they are going to lose badly in this war of, sort of like reaching out to the people on the internet, right? So one on the right which I have is, something which Apple had very recently announced. So Apple had announced that after its iOS 14 update, what will happen is, all of the apps which people have access to through Apple devices, they will not be able to capture, tons and tons of data points and tons of signals about the consumers, basis their usage behavior on the app, right? So Apple is now restricting the kind of signals that these apps can sort of like take away from the user journey, and then probably try and use that for advertising, right? So what does Apple say is, so per domain, it is going to restrict the total number of signals that apps can probably capture and use that for advertising to a maximum of 8. So that is the first thing. So it is putting a restriction on the number of signals, that can't be more than 8, which is going to force a lot of brands to prioritize on the signals that they want to capture, right? Because in the earlier scenario, brands had no restrictions, so they could literally capture everything within the user journey. So things like, how much time is a person spending on one particular product page, or let's say how much time is a person spending on one particular section within the product page, because then app would know that, okay, so these are the features which are the most exciting to the users, and so on and so forth. They could connect so many signals. But now Apple is saying that, okay, so maximum of 8 signals. So you tell me your priority. So your top 8. Beyond these, you cannot track any more signals which are coming out from the Apple devices. Second restriction, it is asking the users to allow for tracking, right? In the earlier scheme of things, because this particular piece is still available right now, but the default setting is allow. So you can go into settings and then probably uncheck that option and then say, okay, I don't want this app to track my behavior, right? But in future, the default setting is going to be, like, do not track. So which means that apps will have to still explicitly take this permission from people to be in a position to track all of the pointers in the user journey. Correct? Yeah. Let's move on to the next slide. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now coming on to the state of video as well as immersive experiences. Because gone are those days when people used to be happy or brands used to be happy with just like one particular static banner which appears on probably the first viewable screen, or you used to also see some bit of static banners on the left side, some static banners on the right side, and over a period of time what happened is a lot of brands joined the bandwagon, because of which there was too much of clutter which is happening within the mobile space itself. So just imagine when you open up a website and then you see probably 3 or 4 banners which are already taking up 20 to 30% of the space within the mobile screen itself. You are left with very less content for which you were originally there on this particular site, right? So that was a big letdown for the user experience. So that's why slowly and gradually you also saw a lot of other players who came onto this particular picture, because they realized that probably we need to find an answer which goes beyond just static banners, and at the same time that should not be that intrusive. So over here I'm just sharing a screenshot of one of the things that we had done when I was with Puma back then. So we had launched a shoe whose proposition was you could lace this shoe in infinite number of ways, right? Because your typical shoes generally have about 8 to 10 different eyelets, and then you can lace your shoes only through those 8 to 10 different eyelets. But now on this particular shoe, you had the entire upper of the shoe which is available for you for lacing, right? So you can see all of these perforated pieces. So you could put up your lacing across any of these perforations, and then you could lace your shoe. Now this has got two advantages. So there is something called as performance running, and then there is something called as probably people also use these shoes for styling. So people who are serious runners, right? So they have got different foot types. So someone has got wide foot, someone has got narrow foot. So basis different foot types, some or the other kind of lacing suits them the more. And people who are usually into running, right, and then they are long distance runners, they are at very high risk of injuring their foot if the lacing is not proper. So what we realize is like probably having those limited number of 8 to 10 different eyelets through which you're lacing the shoes is not the best way of offering value to these runners. And that's why we said, okay, so now we want to give this freedom to you. Now you can go ahead and lace it just the way you like it, and at the same time also look at your comfort zone, and then accordingly you lace your shoe. So that is a performance angle to this. The second aspect was a styling aspect to this as well, right? Because now you don't have to lace your shoe just the boring way, and then you can use your creativity to kind of come up with like really really different cool kick-ass lacing styles. So we could see these two as like prominent features through which we could advertise this. But the problem was this is more of a look and feel kind of a product, and it was very very difficult to kind of replicate this particular piece on digital platforms, right? So we said, okay, let us take the immersive experiences route. And what we did is we tied up with a partner which who helped us create this piece of experience. And how it used to appear on the user screen is whenever a user is scrolling through, let's say a piece of article on Times of India. I'm just taking the name of Times of India because that's the first thing which came to my mind. It could be any other website which a user usually goes to browse content. And then you see a very small section over here which calls out commercial break. So it clearly calls out commercial break, and it asks the user the permission to engage, right? So it asks the user to tap to engage. And only if a user is tapping to engage on this, we take that as a complete permission from the user, and then we deliver a full screen experience. So what happens is the moment you click on this tap to engage, you have a full screen takeover. And then over here we had the shoe, and then we ask people to, okay, so just imagine the craziest lacing style ever, right? So create the craziest lacing style ever and we will make it real. So we actually made users draw their lacing pattern on the shoe itself. So they tried out different lacing patterns, and then if they were not satisfied, they could reset this, and if they were satisfied, they could click on done. And the moment they clicked on done, we said, you just designed your unique lacing style, or probably your signature lacing style. And then just imagine what was the next screen. The next screen was, we told them that, okay, so now whatever you had currently drawn on the screen, you can technically do that on a shoe for real, and introducing blah blah blah, and then the name of the product. And then we also sort of took them to the website wherein they could check out more details on this. So what was the advantage of sort of like delivering these kind of immersive experiences is, like, when we compared against the benchmarks, we saw our dwell time, which is nothing but the time spent by the user on engaging with the creative. That was double the industry benchmark. and the kind of click-through rates which we saw on this particular ad unit, which took them onto the website to check out the product even further, was 0.4 percentage basis 0.4 percentage points higher as compared to benchmark. So like these are like fairly good numbers. So we knew one thing for sure, that we were able to get the consumer hooked, which would not have been possible had we followed the static banner route. So that's why we feel that immersive experiences in the current shape, of course, like they are doing well, but then there are still quite a bit of challenges, right? Although we are seeing very good engagement numbers coming on to this one, but in terms of driving final purchase is a bit of a concern. And then people are slowly and gradually getting used to this. So just imagine 3 years or 4 years henceforth. What we predict is, the share of immersive experiences ads is going to go up, because currently immersive experiences, people deploy about 10 to 15% of their budgets towards these kind of innovative ad experiences. But as and when these creatives also start offering better value, and then they are able to showcase ROI, so the share of immersive experience is going to definitely grow beyond 10%, right? So the estimates say that this share is going to grow to probably about 20-25% by the end of 2025. And then what we will see is, we will also see a heightened amount of ROI and conversion matrix flowing through these immersive experiences, right? Now coming on to video. So video in the current shape, what we see is, there is a consistent slew of a lot of apps which are pushing for a lot of your short duration videos. And videos in the current shape are not interactive, right? They are definitely engaging, but then they are not interactive. So probably the future of videos, with the advent of 5G, coming into picture, we are also going to see, the quality of videos going to be like extremely high. And then the second thing that will happen is, technology is also going to ensure that you have got great quality videos which don't take up that much amount of space on your phone. So which means that probably if today you're utilizing 70% of your phone space by just having 100 videos, 2 years hence you will also see, you know um, probably 140 or 150 high quality videos within your phone in the same space. But then because of advent of technology, you see that thing popping up, so which means that video consumption is going to go higher. Second thing which will happen is, videos will also become interactive. So just imagine a video which is, let's say, a 10 or 15-second video. Now it will ask you for an option, so probably it will ask the users for an input. So say for instance, you have a drama unfurling, and then it will tell you, okay, so this is what is the situation, and then probably you choose what should the boy do next. And then there will be 4 or 5 different options, and the moment you click on one particular option, depending on what option you choose, the video will take that particular route for the remainder of the video, right? So we are going to see, a growth in the interactive videos come into the picture, because one of the key challenges that we currently face is your average session time or your average watch time for videos on social media, irrespective of whether that is Facebook or Instagram, that is under 7 seconds, right? So which means that, people who are spending a lot of time in creating those a minute long videos, that is not going to work anymore. So we are trying to figure out as to how do we take this 7 seconds to probably 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and so on and so forth. But then we will make the user or the audience a part of this entire experience. And that's why, the next bet on video is going to be interactive videos. Can we move on to the next section, please? Yeah. Yeah. So now, next is, voice and vernacular. I'm sure all of you can identify with the top two bars which you see here, which calls out search for brands and products, and the second one is search. So the first one is Myntra, and then the second one is Google. So you clearly see that mic button, which is appearing, which is nothing but voice. And these days, of course, like with the advent of technology, we are also able to do picture search. I don't know how many of you have already used this particular feature, but then this is a pretty cool feature. Of course, it will take some time for it to get better, but right now, as we speak, this is still a very good feature wherein you can also search for products using pictures of images which you already have, and then you're going to get some of the products which are very closer to whatever picture you have already taken, right? So now coming on to voice. So why is voice becoming this important? Is because of the fact that you know your vernacular languages, the number of people who are using languages which is other than English, that is rising. So just to state a few of the facts, I mean, if you look at some of the music streaming platforms, your vernacular languages like Bhojpuri, Punjabi, you've got Tamil, you've got Telugu, all these languages, they are ruling the roost over there. And then if you clearly see, they are giving Hindi a run for the money, because I think there's just about 5 percentage points difference between Hindi and Bhojpuri in a platform like Ghana. But if you look at the platforms like Spotify and other music streaming platforms, you have got your South Indian languages also sort of like bumping up the numbers really, really fast. So in a futuristic kind of a scenario, what trends and predictions say is probably your English and Hindi will contribute to maybe about 50%, and then the other 50% are going to come from, like, let's say, a slew of other vernacular languages. So that's the power of vernacular, which you're already seeing, which is happening across a lot of things. Now coming on to the voice, right? So now, and this rise in vernacular is also one of the reasons why voice searches have also moved up. Currently 30% of the Google searches, or 28% to be precise, of the Google searches in India happen through voice mode, because a, of course, it offers you convenience because you don't have to type all of these things all by yourself, and b is, of course, people who don't know probably how to read and write, but then they are way more comfortable with their own native languages. They are also able to sort of utilize the internet services, right? And every time we read about articles wherein Googles of the world and other major internet platforms, they talk about, okay, where do we get the next 100 million users, or where do we get the next 100 million internet users coming in from? It is actually going to come from the countryside. It is actually going to come from the hinterland, and then we are talking about tier 3 and tier 4 towns of the country. And that's why we see more and more emergence of vernacular, and these guys may not be as well versed, and probably they may not know how to write or how to read, but then they obviously want some piece of information coming in. So that's why you see a great integration of voice into everything that we do. So Google has already done it, Myntra has done it. You see the likes of Amazon and Flipkart also joining the bandwagon. So you see more and more integration of voice into all of the features that we currently use, because vernacular is not a fad anymore. It is very much a part of our day-to-day life. It is very much a part of our regular life, right? Yeah, so I covered what is happening on the music streaming side of things. Now, okay, so podcast. Even this is also quite an interesting piece, because if you look at India as a market today, it is not a, probably India is still at a very, very niche segment of podcasts. On music streaming platforms, your percentage of users who are listening to podcasts today is less than 2%. Of course, like the year 2020 was different because of COVID, and like people sort of like latched onto these platforms, and then they were spending a lot more time on these platforms, and that's why you could see the share of podcasts going up by a huge margin. Probably podcasts grew by 40 to 50% for some of the platforms. Uh, but the thing is, podcast is slowly and gradually taking up share of attention of people, because people are also getting used to this particular format of consuming content. And one of the reasons why people consume podcasts is because it is non-intrusive. Because compare this with a display kind of a setup wherein you see too many banner spaces, which is going to take up a lot of share of your space. But on podcasts, you don't have that yet. So which means that any kind of a brand advertising which happens on podcast will happen through content integrations, which are much deeper integration. And there are enough researches which prove that the kind of brand lift scores that you get whenever you advertise on podcast is higher than like, let's say, your regular display campaign. And that's why slowly and gradually brands are also betting big on podcast, because you see a higher share of attention of the user, and that person is not going to probably sort of just stop listening to the audio, because there is a 5 seconder or a 10 seconder ad coming in between, and then you see very less of these ads within the entire series. So that's why podcast is something which is also slated to grow bigger in future. And of course, people not having a lot of time to read through the books, and that's why you see podcasts also um, taking a huge share of space there, because these days you see a lot of book summaries coming into the picture, and then people can spend very little time, but then they can get all of the gist or all of the summary of the books. And that is one of the spaces which is bumping a podcast big time, right? Now, quickly moving on to the image on the right, wherein you see your apps like Moj, MX Tagata, Josh, ShareChat. All of these apps, other than Josh, I think have got 100 million plus downloads. And just to give you comparative numbers, Instagram is currently operating at about 140 monthly active users. So three platforms which launched probably because TikTok was kind of banned, and then these guys saw the opportunity to kind of like leverage on that particular aspect. And we already see them in less than a year's time, they are already at 100 million plus downloads, right? So which means that a lot of these people who are probably celeb next doors, because TikTok has helped to sort of like create a culture or spark a culture of celeb next door, wherein you see the guy next door becoming a celebrity because of the sheer power of content. And then like whatever they keep on doing, they keep on doing that well, and then they keep on doing that consistently, and over a period of time they keep on gaining a lot of eyeballs and gaining a lot of followers. So you see these kind of apps also doing really well. But the thing is, when you look at the future, probably yeah, of course, Instagram is going to be there because Instagram has got Instagram Reels. Some of these apps which are able to sort of deliver the same kind of user experience and then probably reduce the number of friction in terms of giving people more number of options to share their content or making it easier for people to share their content. They are the ones who are going to sort of still survive. The remaining ones will have to shut down. But yeah, of course, I mean, if you look at the share of growth, it has been phenomenal, right? Because 100 million downloads or 100 million days in about 7-8 months time, that is phenomenal, and we'll continue to see these kind of things happening in future. Yeah, can we move on to the next slide, please? Yeah, so yeah, this is again another buzzword. We keep listening to this in almost every second article which you talk about, the future of marketing or future of digital marketing. Okay, so I've just like captured 3 different snapshots. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because I wanted to give some of the relevant and relative examples here. So what is happening is in today's world, if you look at the Googles of the world or Facebooks of the world, I'm sorry. Yeah, so if you look at the Googles of the world and Facebooks of the world, when you set up your ad campaigns across these platforms, these days you have got options wherein you can tell the machine that okay, you optimize my campaigns to give me, you know, maximum number of conversions for the budget which I state. So when we set up ads, what we do is we just state the budgets and then we also tell them the objective. So this is my objective, this is my budget. Now you do the job of figuring out which is the right audience for me to reach out to and then probably get in those kind of conversions coming out of the picture. Right? So that's why you see over here there's something called as learning. Typically you see active learning or probably learning phase complete, or it says learning limited. So what the machine is saying over here is probably your budget is too low for the machine to take all of the learnings, or probably your conversions are too low for the machine to have their learnings, and then probably machine learning starts kicking in and then automatically optimizing your campaigns. So what we see is we are already seeing the um, advent of machines into our day-to-day campaign setup. So every digital marketer currently has to live with this, right? Because some part of this is being done by the digital marketer, the other parts are being taken care of by the machines. And if you look at the predictions, right, this is going to grow. Because I'm talking about probably what I used to do 3 years back in terms of the involvement of machines or involvement of artificial intelligence. Probably 90 to 95% of the job used to be done by people, right? So we used to set up the campaigns, we used to put up the keywords, we used to do all of these things. But these days, across Google as well as Facebook, you have got so many options wherein the machines are helping you becoming less hands-on on the tool. So over here on the right, you've got something called smart campaigns, wherein you can just tell Google that okay, so let's say my objective is to drive website sales, but now I want you to run automated ads. I don't know whether Google is going to give me the best results or Google Maps is going to give me the best results, or probably using Google Display Network to give me the best results. This is my objective, this is the budget, give me the best possible result according to you, right? So over here you don't need to get into that kind of hands-on ads management, and like most of the work is being currently done by the machine itself, right? And then over here on the bottom, what we have is something called as personalization at scale. So this is nothing but an example wherein you see that the product which is being sold is the same. So it is a automobile. Probably it's a car which is being sold. And the thing is, you have got 2 different kinds of customers, right? So one particular customer, he likes certain things, and then the second customer, she likes some of the other things about the product in a different kind of setup. So now you have got the power to, kind of like mix and match all of the creatives, whichever you want to run, and then you also give a entire slew of options. So just to give you an example, Facebook has got something called as dynamic creative ads, or Google has got something called as responsive ads, wherein you can give them a set of images, you can give them a set of headlines, you can give them a set of descriptions. All of these can possibly be used interchangeably. And then the rest of the work is done by the machines, because you don't really know as to which combination of headline and description and the product image and the background image is going to work the best for the customers. So that is something which is left to the machine, and then machine bases whatever signals which it has about the user who is currently watching the ad, accordingly takes that particular permutation and combination and then tries to deliver the best possible CTRs. It is going to try and deliver the best possible conversion rate on this, right? Not just this. So let's take the example of the auto suggestions which you're currently getting for your next movie on Netflix, right? Or let's say the kind of suggestions which you get on Amazon every time you browse through a product, and then you also see similar products. So what are those? So those are nothing but the kind of patterns which machines have already figured out through like, let's say, lots and lots of data about the other people who have also browsed through the product which is similar to your product, and then accordingly they are kind of making your job easier, right? Because otherwise, in the previous scheme of things, you would have to search for all of those things, but right now everything is being done by the machine, right? So now just think about it. 5 years hence, what is going to happen is, machines are going to take away even more and more portion of the plate of digital marketers. So which means that we'll have to keep reskilling ourselves, and then we'll have to understand those nuances. Okay, how do I know more about customer? How do I know about those cultural nuances? How do I know about those human elements about consumers, which probably the machine is going to take longer to understand, because the machine will understand data. So all of the mind part is something which could be taken care of by the machines. Of course, you'll still have to sort of like drive on the top level things, because the machine will not decide the budget for you. The machine is not going to decide, what should be the maximum cost for acquisition which you are willing to spend and things like these. So that kind of business understanding and the top level things you will have to deliver. And then on top of that, you will also have to, deep dive into the human aspects of understanding consumers, and then probably help the machines get better results. So it has to be a combination of man and machines. But of course, 5 years down the line, if today machine is taking 30% of all of these things, tomorrow machine is going to take probably 50 or 60% of things, right? So we'll have to keep moving into other fields, and then like probably create new jobs for digital marketers, because whatever current things that digital marketers are doing, that is not going to be relevant anymore probably 5 years hence, because most of these will be done with the machine. Can we move on to the next slide, please? Yeah. So so I don't know how many of you would have heard of this word before, but then this is also quite a buzzword in the industry, wherein people are talking about omni-channel. So what happens is, with the emergence of, of course, digital was there, but then like prior to digital also, we had other formats of advertising. We had television, we had radio, we had outdoors and all. And then of course, a person need not necessarily shop only from the website. That person can always walk into the retail store and then probably purchase a thing, right? So now, if you look at the number of touch points which a consumer is exposed to before making a purchase, that is no more just linear, wherein that person is coming only to social and then purchasing, or that person is browsing through some other content on the mobile and then that person is purchasing, or probably coming to the website and then probably purchasing on the website itself. So the user journey has become quite complicated, and then we have got so many aspects or so many touch points through which the user is interacting with the brand, that it has become extremely important for us to understand this entire journey of the user, and then accordingly, just give me a minute. Sorry. Yeah. So it has become extremely crucial for us to understand, how is the user interacting across channels, right? So I want to understand, okay, so if this is the same user who had come onto my brand page, or probably interacted with a social media ad of mine, and then he clicked on the social media ad and he came onto the website, he checked out the product, but then probably he thought of, okay, let me try this product at the store and then see if I want to purchase it. So just imagine a consumer journey. He sees my ad today, goes onto the website today, looks at the product, but doesn't purchase it, probably adds to the cart, and then like drops off the session. Probably 2 days later, he comes back and then he looks at the product once again, but then he's still not sure of the pricing and the offers. So he says, okay, let me go to the store and then look and feel and then probably purchase. Then the next day he goes to the store and tries the product on his own and then figures out that, okay, this is really good. But then he doesn't make the purchase at the store because he's not getting that 20% discount, which he was entitled to get in the website. So the next day he comes onto the website and then purchases this, right? So you have clearly seen that it is the same user who is engaging with us through different touch points. And these days we are slowly and gradually moving to a world wherein I can I can track what is happening between social and website. And with technologies these days, I can also track website to store conversion. So someone coming onto the website, checking my product and then going to the store, I can track that. Someone who is exposed to my ad on social media and then going to the store and converting, I can track that, right? And similarly the other way around as well. So I can target people who have come onto my store in the last 3 months, and then I can show them ads on my social media, and then of course at a later point of time I can also track as to how many of them have finally converted on the store. So this is what is happening today currently, right? So now when you look at it, probably 5 years hence, we will see technologies which are also going to merge other things into this, right? So my version of omni-channel is web, social, mobile, maybe even a TV, because TV to mobile retargeting is possible these days, right? So we will also see more and more number of entities being added onto this circle, and we will see a lot of tracking happening across multiple touch points and multiple channels, right? So technology is going to ensure that all of these things happen, which is currently not happening because of the attribution limitations and all. But I'm sure that we will move to that kind of a world wherein we will have a single view of customer, and I know exactly as to how many times did this person go to the website, how many times did he watch my ad on TV, how many times did he watch my ad on mobile, and finally what kind of purchase is he making, right? So all of these things is going to go back and fed into the big data and CRM tools, and sort of like make my data and my understanding about the consumer much better, right? Yeah. So let's move on to the next slide, please. I think I have, yeah. So I have covered most of the things. Yeah. So the only thing is, I just wanted to reiterate the boot camps which Sudhanshu spoke about. This is going to be a really good learning, because the kind of people who would be taking those master classes are all experienced people who have gotten their hands dirty setting up those campaigns, also understanding some of the challenges which come from the business aspect, some of the challenges which are coming in from the platform aspect, and then also understanding from the management side of things, right? So what is it that the management desires, and how did they overcome those kind of challenges to finally deliver on the kind of brand objectives or on the kind of performance objectives. So for someone who is really looking forward to a career in digital marketing, or probably seeing digital marketing as a great career option, yes, of course, it is a great career option, but you need to have the right kind of skill sets to do really well in this field, just like any other field. So do register for this, right? Because the boot camps will be starting very soon. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm done, and I would like to leave the room open for Q&A.
Yes. So thank you, Susovan. That was quite a interesting session. Very important, and there are a lot of things that we can see unfold in front of our eyes. A lot of things that you captured in this last 45 minutes are
Yeah.
things we do see evolving in our day-to-day lives,
Sure.
and this is going to be challenging. And challenges are, I think, quite welcome, right? So a
Yeah.
lot is will through a lot of challenges for digital marketers. So having the right skill set to get that done is what we all need. So we are all open for questions. So if people have questions, you can put it in the chat window. You can one by one, you can raise your hand and possibly unmute yourself if you want to have if you want to ask a question. That too is or something that we can do. So as Sushovan was saying, we are launching. I'll just kind of go back to where our uh, boot camp session. We are launching this boot camp starting in May, which will be a 16-week course. It will be a course which will have course, things like marketing, market research, content marketing, SEO, SEM, paid marketing. You will have also courses, you will have projects. You will have every week will be with a project that will give you a hands-on experience. You will have tools that you will get your hands dirty with. So if we talk about, say, Facebook campaigning, you will actually get to run some Facebook campaigns with real money. So you will get the tools, you will get the hands-on experience. We look forward to, the registrations have already started. So I look forward to having more and more people there. If you're interested, the link has been shared in the chat window. You guys can go register there, and our representative will give you guys a call, right? So this is so if you have any questions, we can take the questions now. One question that comes to my mind is, what are the challenges, Sushoban, that comes when going vernacular along with the voice search options? Because I believe that a lot of it just needs a lot of AI capabilities. Because it's
Yeah.
something that I call in my vernacular language would be something very different than what is in the store possibly. So we need to have 10, 15 other options for that. And secondly, people say words differently, even while typing or even while saying. People have different accents. So how does that gets inbuilt into all of this?
Sure. See, the thing is, the basis of machine learning is the fact that the machine also keeps on learning from the real life experiences, right? So what happens is, let us try and understand this with an example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I am searching for samosa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm searching for samosa on Google, and the
Mm-hmm.
moment I, you know, I call out samosa, I might be calling out samosa in one particular format versus you calling out in some other dialect, right? Because
Yeah.
we live in a country wherein your dialects change every 2 kilometers or every 3 kilometers.
Yes.
So that way, if you see the accuracy of the backend algorithms to kind of exactly predict as to whether this is the word which is being pronounced or did they mean something else. So if you look at how Google currently predicts for the text searches is it also asks you, okay, did you mean this or do you want to search for this instead, right? So one of the premises of machine learning is also the fact that it learns through feedback. So first time when you call out a samosa and then Google starts, you know, probably showing you some of the results which used to happen in the text kind of things, but on a voice case, it is going to pick up the first result which it comes basis whatever algorithm has already fed into this, right? So either Google will get it right or Google will get it wrong. So in case Google has gotten it wrong, right, it will also ask you to sort of give feedback to the system so that the system kind of like takes that as an input. And next time around, whenever someone is searching for a samosa, it is going to deliver a better experience. So one of the factors that Google is going to take into consideration is, of course, the way you pronounce it, your dialect, your location as well, right? So all of these things matter because let's say if I'm sitting in Odisha and then I'm saying, okay, samosa, it is not going to show me, a result from Delhi. It is going to show me a result from Odisha. But then, of course, it is also going to customize and personalize basis the user's current situations. And then accordingly, it is going to give you the best result coming out of that. But as you very rightly pointed out, yeah, of course, I mean, it is still a journey, and then the system will keep on making itself better. So yeah, of course, so over a period of time you will also see the accuracy of the systems uh, also coming on to be really good. So right now I was just like going through an article which called out that accuracy of Google's voice algorithms in order to capture whatever you have currently spelled out is more than 90%. So
Right.
so of course, I mean, there is still room for error, there is still room for improvement, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, of course, like we will get there, because machine learning, machines have got a capability to learn much faster as compared to humans. So definitely this is not going to be a linear equation, this is going to be an exponential equation. So
So there's some questions pouring in. So as
yeah,
an early professional, somebody who is looking to make a career in digital marketing, how can one prepare for these new trends?
yeah. See, the thing is, a lot of things you get to understand and appreciate the moment you are also, hands-on with some of these things, right? So let's say just for instance, we spoke about artificial intelligence. So some of the applications of artificial intelligence could be to figure out, probably running ads in the recommendations place, right? Because you can run ads on the recommended products position as well. So that is something wherein you are getting hands on, and at the same time you're also trying to understand that, okay, so this is the kind of things that the machine is trying to predict. So for
Mhm.
an early professional, of course, read up as much as you can, because the more you read, the better you get as a professional. And at the same time, try and get into projects, or try and log into projects wherein people are working towards these kind of futuristic trends, right? Because within AI itself, we could have also spoken about chatbots. We could have also spoken about probably WhatsApp chat automation, and
Yeah.
then try and get into some of these things on your own, wherein you try and feed some of the inputs to the system, and then the system slowly and gradually sort of like learns and automates a few of these things. So as an early professional, yeah, so my 2 cents of advice onto these people would be, keep reading, don't stop reading, don't stop learning, read as much as you can, be on top of like some of the upcoming trends that is happening, and then
Mhm.
also try and see what kind of applications are companies within your industry already doing around this, right? Because you will be in a much better position to appreciate those things. Because if I am from consumer electronics, I should be looking for examples of applications of this particular trend within my category. It may not be my company, but like probably some other company within my category is trying to do that. So try and understand how have they gone about doing this, and then like probably overcome some of the barriers.
Mhm.
And we should be slowly and gradually become better at it. So
Right.
that would be my
So,
take on it.
so I would say that the first is to start a career for yourself, and then you can choose the direction that you want to go into. A lot of these trends are at the intersection of technology and digital marketing, AI and marketing.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Right. So
Digital marketing is nothing but technology and marketing, right? Because
technology and marketing, right?
correct. Yeah.
So as you go along, you will definitely be exposed to more and more such trends, and depending on the kind of work that you do, you will definitely ride the trend and make a career for yourself there.
Yeah.
So, Susovan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts for this wonderful visual session that we had.
Thank you.
I
I think
really,
there was one more question which
yeah.
had come up on the chat.
So
So,
yeah, so, but there's one more question, that what are the barriers to AI marketing? What are some barriers to AI marketing that we have discussed?
sure. See, one of the barriers to AI marketing is the fact that you know this is going to come at a cost, right? Not
Yes.
everything is going to come really cheap. So in which case, like probably some of the companies which have got like really deep pockets, they will be able to sort of like be able to afford that. And
Mm,
what I've seen, especially in the Indian ecosystem, is a lot of companies, they are not quite keen to experiment, because a lot of these AI related projects, they can be started with small pilots. But one of the biggest barriers which I still see today is the fact that companies, they are not that keen to experiment, because they
mhm,
realize, no, I mean, any which ways, even if we experiment, we will not have the budgets to kind of fund it on a larger scale. So like, what's the point in doing it? So that is one. So sort of appreciating failures is something which is still not common for a lot of companies, because whenever you are experimenting something, it might work, it might not work. So having that kind of a mindset helps, which is still not there in a lot of companies in India.
mhm,
Second, which I see as a barrier to artificial intelligence, is in a lot of companies, the kind of data which you need to kind of feed into the system so that the system starts learning, that data itself is not present in an organized
right.
fashion, right? So
Mm,
you have got data which is available in certain clusters. So like, let's say, just to give you an example, probably you might be running a marketing campaign, and then you had and for the system to tell you what is the best possible mixture of media channels that you should be using, which is nothing but media mix modeling, which an advanced level of multivariate regression. It will ask you for the data, day wise data of your marketing spends across channels, and day wise data of your sales across channels, right? So even MNCs kind of struggle to kind of like give all of that data in an organized format. So that's
mhm,
why I think probably having all of this data in an organized format, or if the data is not organized, you will have to still deploy someone to clean up that data, and then probably give the data in a format which the machine will take during the initial times. And once the machine learns on its own, after that it should be able to sort of like try sharing its own learning and its own insights. So these
right.
two I see as really big challenges in today's times, especially with the Indian companies. And third thing, of course, the right kind of manpower.
Mhm,
Because the number of data scientists these days, of course, it is booming. But the number of data scientists who also understand the business side of things, understand a bit of marketing side of things, understand the challenges which are coming in from each of these areas also becomes important. So before we get the machines to that particular stage, we'll also have to have some bit of manpower who are capable enough to understand all of these complexities which are involved in terms of sort of like setting up the right kind of system, and then probably leverage AI to the best possible extent.
great,
Yeah,
great. So technology, manpower, and data, these are the three main challenges that you have faced,
yes,
that you have outlined.
yeah, that's right.
So thank you so much, Sushmavan. Thank you everybody who has joined. We have more session lined up, so you can go to AntWak's page for the upcoming sessions on the next week, and you can you can also visit our website, see the free courses that are there. You can see the boot camp that is coming up, and I look forward to you coming in the next sessions. And Sushmavan, thank you so much. We look forward to kicking off this boot camp with you taking some courses. So thank you, everybody.